Hey y'all, it's Sarah. This is a weekly reads where I'm going to tell you about what I've read, what I'm currently reading, what I will read this coming week. First, let me start off with probably the controversial. I DNF'd Birnam Wood by Eleanor Catton. So this book is about a collection of individuals who are involved in a gardening collective. So they take unused plots of land around and about in their city and grow vegetables and eat them, sell them, whatever. And so it's Mira, who is one of the sort of the leaders of this group, her roommate, Shelley, Tony, a guy who was in the collective, goes away, he's now back in town, and then this mysterious American billionaire, Robert. And they're all sort of sketchy, unlikable characters, which is normally not something that I don't have a problem with that. They're all sort of these end justifies the means kind of characters. So Mira is not opposed to doing things illegal, trespassing, stealing, you know, if it furthers the aims of the collective. So all of these characters have something about them that's somewhat, I almost want to describe them as weak, lacking conviction, like posers. Like I'm not quite sure how to label them, but they're just sort of annoying, really. And then there's Robert, who comes into the scene, I don't know, page 80 or something, and he just seems painted as like the one-dimensional, nefarious, evil capitalist. Mira finds this abandoned sheep farm, and she's going to trespass and grow a bunch of stuff on the sheep farm to sell because she thinks this will then elevate and advance the collective to the next level and become an actual, you know, self-sustaining, profitable thing. And Robert, for his own reasons, decides he's going to sort of let her do this. I DNF'd this book about 100 pages in. Honestly, I felt like the pacing just was really off. Like it was really slow to get going. All of these characters, like I said, I found them more annoying than interesting. And then Robert comes on the scene, and he just seemed sort of evil, you know, without a lot of depth or nuance. So I just found myself struggling to want to pick up this book. And so I finally was like, you know what, give it up. Like, I'm not enjoying this book. So, DNF'd Birnam Wood. Then I moved on to, and this is actually the book that I sort of picked up because I was struggling with Birnam Wood. And so I picked it up, and I was like, kept reading this one and kept not going back to Birnam Wood. And that's Juno Loves Legs by Karl Geary, that was published this year. Juno and Legs, the book starts off, and I think they're about 10, in Dublin. They both live on the same housing estate. You know, it's like they join forces because they're being picked on. So they're outcasts from the perspective of other students. They're of course in Catholic school, and Gary's descriptions of some of the humiliations that Juno and Legs experienced in this Catholic school is actually horrifying. And so, you know, the book sort of charts their friendship, you know, as you know, the world is increasingly cruel, you know, these two band together to support one another. I don't want to give anything away about the plot. It is a heartbreaking book. Again, what happens to these characters just keep getting beaten down, but how they support one another through thick and thin, it's a wonderful ode to friendship, and the ending of this book was perfect, in my mind. They make choices that maybe aren't the best for them personally, but they make choices to support one another. It's a short book. This is a 5-star read for me. This I feel like will definitely be in top reads of 2023. This is it was a wonderful, emotionally satisfying read. This is definitely a character-driven book. There is actually quite a bit of plot, but really that plot is there to show sort of the forces that the Legs and Juno are up against, but also it allows their friendship to deepen. So, big thumbs up. Color Me Beautiful. I don't know how this came up in discussion. This was with my friend Lynn. We were knitting together, and somehow this book came up in conversation. Oh, because she was trying to pick out a yarn color to make a cowl. Doesn't matter. And I was commenting, you always pick that color. And she's like, I know, you know, and somehow we got onto she's a winter, and she's older than me. So this book is clearly from the 80s. And she had her colors done in the 80s. You know, I'm a bit younger, so, you know, this would have been before my time. But this is a funny book. But still, I have to say, fairly relevant. So, of course, you want to know, what am I, right? That's the Autumn palette. Here's the spring, autumn, spring. See, I think I'm spring. But my 19-year-old, Gavin, says, Mom, you want to be a spring, but you're an autumn. So we were out and about today, and you know, I'm pointing out, you know, as we're driving by, I'm like, look, you know, she's wearing the wrong color blouse. You know, look, you know, he's wearing the wrong color sweatshirt, you know, she shouldn't be wearing black, you know. But anyway, so this is a little bit taken over. And of course, you know, I go on the web, you know, to see, like, do people still talk about seasonal palettes, you know? And of course I look up, you know, autumn palette, and of course we've taken this up to the next level. You know, there's true autumns, what was it, deep autumns, warm autumn, like I don't even know, but now there, you know, there's not just an autumn, there's like subcategories of autumn. So what I'm thinking is Gavin's comment of, I want to be a spring, but I'm really an autumn, makes me think, oh, maybe I'm a, you know, deep autumn or whatever, right? And that's, or whatever it is. There is sub category of autumns that can wear some spring colors. Anyway, doesn't matter. Anyway, Color Me Beautiful. Funny little adventure back in time. And so how am I doing today with my teal sweatshirt? So that is what I have read this week. I wouldn't say exactly that I've read Color Me Beautiful, but just obsessing on how to determine, am I autumn or am I spring? Yeah, you know, comment below. So what am I in the middle of? I am currently reading A Distant Shore by Carole Phillips. This is for Caribathon. I know Caribathon only goes on for like a 2-week period in June. I don't know what the 2 weeks are, so in my mind, Caribathon is just June. So this is a reading event hosted by Peta from comfycozyup and Karen from RunwrightReads. This has been on my TBR for a while. I didn't really know anything about the book before I picked it up, and I'm kind of glad. This, I will say very little about it, other than sort of the setup of the book. This is Dorothy, who's an elderly woman, white British woman, and Solomon, who is an African immigrant, who is sort of the handyman, night watchman of the housing development where Dorothy lives. And the two of them sort of strike up an unlikely friendship, and he ends up taking her, to her doctor's appointments and so on. And then plot ensues, and I will say nothing more than that. I am enjoying this book. I'm about halfway-ish done, so enjoying that. I'm also, as an audiobook, listening to The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese. This is another book that I feel like I've heard mixed things about. Definitely people have said this book is too long. Agreed. Yeah, I'm gonna agree, it's too long. It follows 3 generations of a family on their farm. It's definitely long. The pacing is a little slow in places. It does feel a little draggy in places. Verghese's writing is wonderful. His descriptions are wonderful. I think he can really appreciate the emotional highs and lows in the plot. So Verghese is a physician himself. There is a lot of medical things in this book. Surgical technique, infectious disease, birthing complications, stuff. That for me, having worked in the healthcare profession, I find super fascinating and super interesting. But I can appreciate for other readers, it would be downright boring to read pages and pages and pages of description about hand surgery. Or, also potentially like horrifying. Again, some of the descriptions and technique describe, it can be kind of graphic. So I can also appreciate some readers being like, I don't want to read that. I personally love those sections, and I don't mind reading 20 pages of, hand surgery technique. But again, I can totally appreciate your average reader might find that incredibly boring and might find that a slog and might be skipping pages. I was prompted to read this because Abraham Verghese is coming to the Central Library next week to do a reading, book signing, blah, blah, blah. So I was planning on going to that event. So that's why I'm listening. So what do I have on the docket next week? Well, I am doing judging the BookTube Pride's semifinals. I think I'm Group B. So I will be reading Keiki? Question mark? I need to look up how to pronounce this. I just got in the hardcover, and then the audiobook just came in. So this is kind of a fatty. So I may actually do the audiobook when I finish Covenant of Water. What else? I do have some Pride reading to do. I have Nevada by Imogen Binnie. This is sort of considered a trans road trip novel. What could be better than a road trip novel in the summer? And then I have Don't Nobody Give a Shit What Happened to Carlotta. I love the title. Hello. By James Hannaham, and this is also a queer book. I don't really, what I remember about this is that Carlotta just got released from prison, I think. Don't even know. Don't even care. So that's what I got going on this week. So let me know what you're reading, what you're liking, what you're loving. If you've read any of these books, let me know. And more specifically, please tell me what season you are and confirm. Am I an autumn? Am I spring? Thanks so much. Bye.